Welcome back, everyone. So today we're going to cover the best company to work for, or not. So basically, the best company to work for, in my opinion, isn't defined by the name that's on the side of the building or the financial growth or anything like that necessarily. And here's why. So let's cover the financial aspect of it first. If a company is plateaued and not really showing any financial growth or not really showing any financial loss, that's not really defining how that company is to work for. If they have a sudden spike in financial growth, that's not necessarily a reflection of their success. It could be a company that's actually already plateaued or even losing, but they might have just cut 200 people to have a spike in financial growth or savings on their next quarter report. Now, if a company is showing consistent financial growth, then obviously the company is doing something right, but that doesn't necessarily make that company the perfect company to work for. So what really does make a company the best company to work for? Simple. Leadership. Leadership can make or break a company. You can be the most profitable company out there, but if you have terrible leadership, you're going to hate going to work every day. It can be not the most profitable company, but if you have great leadership, it's going to be absolutely great to work for. You're going to go in, you're going to have fun, you're going to be able to joke around, you're going to be on the same mindset as leadership, and it's going to be all around great experience. So in my experience, I've worked for different companies, both the smaller family-owned companies and then the large corporations that are Fortune 500 billion-dollar worldwide companies. And what I've found is when you're working for a huge company where you got corporate offices, things like that, your leadership, number one, is going to change from department to department. So if you actually want to go somewhere within that company, then your leadership's constantly going to change. Even if you stay within that department, your leadership is going to obviously want to move up and do better and make more money, so they're always going to change. So if you have a good leadership within your team, don't get too used to it because it's going to change. If you get to the point where you're up for a promotion, well, then your leadership's going to change again. And same thing can be said if you have bad leadership. You're only going to have that bad leadership for so long, and then it's going to change. Now, smaller family-owned companies that I'm more used to, in my opinion, are better in a certain sense. So your leadership, a lot of times, are going to be your owners or close management. So chances of them moving on because there isn't a lot of room, because it is a small company, you're going to keep them until they sell, or if for some reason they do really explode and become a huge company, then you're going to lose sight. Both of those are pretty far-fetched, and they're not going to happen as quickly as what you're going to change your leadership within a larger company. Now, how do you choose your leadership? So when I go to an interview, obviously they're interviewing you to make sure you're going to be a good fit for them. But one of the main things that I think people really pass on is when you're interviewing for somebody, and whether it's managers or owners or whatever type of leadership they are, I haven't been to an interview yet where they don't ask you if you have any questions. And in my experience of being in management and asking people that same question, not a lot of people take advantage of that question. This is your shot to interview them and ask questions and know if they're going to be a good fit for you. Now, I know a lot of times we have to have a job, obviously. Same thing with me. Unless you won the lottery or you're just filthy rich, you need a job. I'm the same way. So we don't always have that luxury of being able to interview people and make sure they're the right fit for a job for us. So sometimes you just have to take a job just to take it, to have that income. But keep in mind that no matter how crappy a job it might be, whether it's flipping burgers or whatever it is, keep in mind that you don't have to make a career out of it. You can take your days off, things like that, and look for another job. You go home at night, go online, look for a different job that you are going to be more happier with. And since you have that income, you have that luxury of having more time in that situation to look for the perfect fit for you long term. Now, in my opinion, as far as keeping your same leadership, like if you're happy with them, smaller family-owned companies are definitely going to be the way to go. But one thing that you're going to lack with a family-owned company, chances are they're not, depending on what you're comparing it to, chances are they may not pay as much as what you get as a bigger company. Sometimes that's not always true though. And then another thing is, a lot of times smaller companies, they don't have the means to offer the benefits and paid vacation and everything like a larger company will. So that's one thing that's going to be a huge difference between smaller companies and larger companies. What it all boils down to is what you're going to be happier with and what happiness is worth to you. If it's worth possibly making a little bit less and not having as much vacation, or possibly not as good or no benefits at all, but being happy and having fun and looking forward to going to work every day, maybe being happy is more worth it to you. If those benefits are super important to you, and let's say you really need that insurance, you have maybe a lot of health conditions, or maybe you have family that has health conditions where you absolutely need that insurance, well, then a larger company is going to be the way to go. But if you have that option to where you're not in that position where you need those things, then maybe going to work and hating your life and hating that job isn't the way to go. And I have been in situations where I actually make a lot more through a smaller company than I do in a larger company. So really weigh out your options, look at those details when you're looking into a company. And one of the main things, whether it's a small company or a large company, when they ask you, do you have any questions for us, take advantage of that. Have a list of questions to ask them and really try and get to know them on a personal level. And crack a joke. See what they do. If they're going to be straight-faced and smug and suit and tie and business all the way, well, if that's not you, then that's probably not a good fit. If they actually show you that they're humans too and they laugh and kind of play into it, then that's going to tell you what you're in for. So that's that. On the next video, guys, I'm going to be going into something that I get a lot of questions about. So in one of my past jobs, I worked at a call center, and I also know a lot of people that work in call center environments. So whether you work in one or whether you call them, because sometime in your life you're going to be calling a call center, whether it's to have an issue with something you bought, a warranty issue, maybe you got a call for a credit card issue, your cable, I mean, the list goes on and on. Every large company is going to have a call center, and you're going to have an experience with it. So I'm going to have some tips and tricks for when you call into a call center, and also what goes on behind the scenes when they put you on hold. So if there's any video that you're going to click on and watch, this next video is going to be one of the main ones. So stay tuned. I'll be releasing that within the next week. Thanks a lot, guys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.